Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. And tonight's Raw was from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. And after coming off last night's Elimination Chamber, which was god-awful show, Monday Night Raw tonight, I gotta say, wasn't that bad of a show tonight. Was it a great show? No. But, in my opinion, it wasn't a bad show. We are on the road to WrestleMania, if you all want to say that, because, in my opinion, it doesn't even feel like WrestleMania season. By how WWE is trying to book WrestleMania this year. Tell me, and I said it last night in my Elimination Chamber review, do you all feel like we're in WrestleMania season? I certainly don't. But tonight, we saw the return of Edge after he got attacked by Randy Orton. So Edge made his return, to get us more involved in their feud, which I think Edge and Randy Orton, this feud is one of the best storylines they got going for WrestleMania. But anyways, let's jump right into the Monday Night Raw review for March 9th, 2020. So, Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch came out, she got in the ring, and she wasn't dressed. If you remember last week on Monday Night Raw, which I was at the Barclays Center, Becky Lynch was on commentary, and she was dressed as the king or queen Becky. She was wearing the crown. But she wasn't dressed like that this week. So she got in the ring, she got on the mic, and she ended up saying, the time for joking is over. And she ends up saying that she finally knows who her opponent is. And they gave Shayna Baszler a new name, a new nickname for Shayna Baszler. So Becky ends up saying that Shayna is now the cage fighter, which I think that's really stupid for a nickname for Shayna. If you remember, in NXT, her nickname was the Queen of Spades, which I thought that's a better nickname than the cage fighter. Absolutely ridiculous, lame nickname that they're giving for Shayna Baszler. They should have just kept calling her the Queen of Spades as her nickname. The cage fighter. So we saw, Shayna's victory. They played that, what we saw last night at Elimination Chamber in that main event, which was god awful. And Shayna ended up saying that she's taking the title, and there's not a damn thing Becky Lynch can do about it. This was said, after the Elimination Chamber, where WWE.com had like a interview exclusive with Shayna Baszler. So after that was played, we went back to the ring. Becky Lynch recognizes that Shayna cut through everyone in the chamber match last night, even Asuka. So Becky ended up calling Shayna a black hole of charisma. She ended up saying that I may be a bitch, but I'm the bitch who runs this division. And Becky ends up saying that she recalls Shayna not shaking her hand after WrestleMania last year, after last year's WrestleMania. She ends up saying that Shayna Baszler is the biggest threat to come her way since she pried the title off Ronda Rousey, who of course is, Ronda is one of Shayna Baszler's, friends. So Becky ends up saying that Shayna has been hiding in the shadows, looking to rewrite history. And Becky ends up saying that she's going to smash Shayna's face for it, because she believed that Shayna is trying to discount her. And that was pretty much basically the promo that Becky ended up cutting. But it was a decent promo from Becky. And then we went into the first match of the night. Rey Mysterio versus Angel Garza. Which, the match itself, wasn't a bad match. It was a entertaining match between the both of them. Both of these guys gave it all they got in the ring. Angel Garza continues to be decent here. Continues to be enjoyable. So, match started off with Garza. He was taking his time getting into the ring. He ended up posing on the top turnbuckle. Rey Mysterio ends up coming in at Garza, does a Hurricanrana, sending Angel Garza into the turnbuckle. Rey Mysterio ended up trying a wrist lock on Garza, tried to do another Hurricanrana, but Garza ended up blocking it. Garza then ended up laying a boot to Rey Mysterio's face. And then Mysterio came back with some elbows, and he tried to leap over Garza, and Garza ended up kicking Mysterio right in the head. And towards the end of the match, Rey Mysterio, he was looking to hit the 619 on Garza. One time, Rey Mysterio tried to hit the 619. Garza ended up ducking, ended up popping Mysterio with the super kick. And they both are on the top turnbuckle. Mysterio tried to fight off Garza. Mysterio was trying to go for the Canadian Destroyer, but he ended up setting Garza up again for the 619, which he did. So Rey Mysterio ended up hitting the 619, and then he ended the match with a springboard crossbody splash onto Garza. And there you go. Rey Mysterio ended up winning the match. All in all, decent match. Very entertaining match from Mysterio and Garza. But really enjoyed the match. And then we went to footage that was shot earlier in the day, and it was shown Kevin Owens was coming into the arena, and he runs into AOP, Buddy Murphy, and Seth Rollins, the Monday Night Messiah himself. So Seth Rollins was shown eating some popcorn in reference to what Kevin Owens ended up doing last night. And Seth Rollins was offering Kevin Owens some popcorn. And Kevin Owens ends up, knowing what's going to happen. So Owens ended up throwing his suitcase at AOP, and they attack Kevin Owens, AOP. Rollins then ended up hitting the stomp on Kevin Owens. AOP ended up sending Owens into some cases, and Buddy Murphy ended up throwing some equipment on top of Kevin Owens. And then we saw the officials show up to break AOP, Buddy Murphy, and Seth Rollins away from Kevin Owens. And that was basically what happened. But yeah, it looks like Kevin Owens is not done with AOP, Buddy Murphy, and Seth Rollins. And then it was announced that Stone Cold Steve Austin will be on Monday Night Raw next week. Because, of course, next week is 3/16. So it's 3/16 day. So Austin's going to show up on Monday Night Raw next week from the PPG Paints Arena in Pennsylvania. But yeah, looking forward to seeing Austin. You know, the last time we seen Stone Cold was at the Madison Square Garden show back in September, which I was at, the Monday Night Raw, you know, that I was at. So it's going to be cool to see, you know, Austin again. And I know, you know, since it's 3/16 day and he's, you know, showing up, this is also WWE trying to get, you know, or pop a rating. You know, this is WWE, you know, being desperate. This is all showing desperation by WWE, having Austin come on, just so that they could get a pop in the ratings. That's all it is. So then we saw Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair came out, and before she came out, there was a video package shown of Rhea Ripley talking about, you know, her road to WrestleMania, and she was at Raymond James Stadium, which is going to be holding WrestleMania in 4 weeks. And Rhea ended up saying that when she first came to NXT, everybody said she looked like Charlotte. So she ended up saying that she wanted to make sure she showed everyone who she really is. And of course, Rhea Ripley is going to be defending her title, the NXT Women's Championship, against Charlotte at WrestleMania. But yeah, that video package was shown. And then we went to Charlotte Flair coming out. Charlotte got in the ring. She ended up taking the mic. And she ended up telling the crowd to meet Rhea Ripley. The next big thing. The new shiny toy. As what Charlotte said. She ended up saying, Rhea said to be the man, you have to beat the man. You are not me. You will never be me. There is only one me. So Charlotte ends up telling Rhea to enjoy the hype surrounding her, because that hype will not last. And Charlotte says, you know, it's one thing to stand in an empty stadium and be in front of 90,000 people, only to be humbled by the queen. And she does the woo. So Rhea Ripley shows up. Rhea Ripley comes out. Rhea has a smile on her face. She gets on the mic and she begins to say something to Charlotte, but Charlotte ends up cutting her off. So Charlotte ends up saying that this is not NXT. This is Raw. This is her kingdom. She ends up telling Rhea, you are excused. So then, because of that, Rhea ended up punching Charlotte, and Rhea left the ring. Charlotte had a shocked look on her face. And pretty much that was basically what happened. So that whole punch by Rhea to Charlotte, that was pretty cool. But all in all, was an okay, promo segment from Charlotte. Didn't love it. And so we went to a jobber match, or a squash match, as I would call it, because it involved a jobber in it. Bobby Lashley versus Zack Ryder. Do I need to tell you who won this match? If you guess Bobby Lashley, you are right. Bobby Lashley won the match, hit the Dominator on Zack Ryder. Boom. Bobby Lashley wins. Moving on. So we saw Aleister Black. He was back in his dark room, and he gets a knock at his door. Aleister Black ended up looking over, and it was Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. And Seth Rollins ends up going to Aleister Black. He says he wants Aleister on his side, and for Aleister Black to potentially join his group. So Buddy Murphy ended up tossing Aleister Black a shirt. And Black ended up saying, perhaps not. So he tosses the shirt back to Buddy Murphy. Of course, you're not going to get Aleister Black to join your group. So Rollins ends up saying, you're either with me or against me. And Aleister Black ended up responded, and he ended up saying, those sound like fighting words. And since, Seth did knock on his door, Aleister Black ended up saying to Seth, you came to the right place. And, he ended up accepting. So we saw Rollins and Black end up staring at each other. And pretty much we knew that a match was going to be happening later on the night between the both of them, which they did make official. So we had Aleister Black versus Seth Rollins later on the night. But the segment itself, it was meh, in my opinion. Then we had Drew McIntyre versus Erick Rowan. This was a short match. Rowan ended up coming out with his cage, which had the last week. Remember, it was revealed that in Rowan's cage was a tarantula, which looked like it came from, Party City or whatever. Wherever one of those party stores that you could get, or that Halloween store, the Spirit Halloween, looked like it came from there. So it just proved right there when it was revealed last week that WWE did not even know what the hell they wanted to put in Rowan's cage, and make it, like, oh, what's in the cage? Clearly WWE didn't even know. So he came out with the cage, Erick Rowan. So the match starts. Rowan tried to go for the Iron Claw to Drew McIntyre, but McIntyre ended up blocking it. And McIntyre ended up taking care of Rowan. And they were both on the floor. Rowan was knocked down because McIntyre ended up doing a suplex where he threw Rowan on the floor. So McIntyre ended up going over to the cage. He puts the cage on the floor, and he ends up taking the ring steps. He takes the ring steps and he jams the ring steps down on the cage, breaking the cage, because that proved right there that WWE totally, wants this storyline between, Erick Rowan and the cage to die off. That's all that it was. WWE was like, you know what? We're done with this. We don't care. Let's just break the cage and move on. Clearly, we didn't know what to do or put in the cage to reveal what's in, Rowan's cage. That's all it was. That's all they did here tonight. So because McIntyre ended up destroying the cage, Rowan tries to run over McIntyre, but Rowan ends up eating a headbutt by McIntyre. So we go back in the ring. McIntyre ends up hitting the DDT, and he does the whole 1 or the 3, 2, 1 Claymore to Erick Rowan. There you go. Drew McIntyre ended up winning the match. Of course. Short match. So, moving on. So, then we had the Kabuki Warriors versus Natalya and Liv Morgan. Before the match got underway, Asuka, Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors were on the mic, just shouting in Japanese. And then Natalya and Liv Morgan came out. Kairi Sane ended up playing mind games with Liv Morgan. She ended up getting dropped by 2 count. Kairi Sane ended up landing a Hurricanrana and runs at Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan ended up delivering a drop kick to Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane is just yelling out to Asuka. Liv Morgan ended up whipping Kairi Sane into the corner. Natalya ended up tagging in, and both Liv Morgan and Natalya ended up hitting a double suplex to Kairi Sane. Then we see Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott made her way out to the ring. And also, Sarah Logan ended up making her way down. And with Ruby and Sarah, on the floor, we saw Liv Morgan goes to the top, takes out Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan, because Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan were fighting each other on the outside. And Kairi Sane and Asuka end up winning the match. Asuka comes in, kicks Natalya in the back of the head. So right there, the Kabuki Warriors ended up winning the match, Kairi Sane and Asuka. But all in all, the match itself, it was meh, in my opinion. So then we had the OC. Styles, Gallows, and Anderson. They came out. And Styles here delivered a really awesome promo to set up his match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So Styles ended up getting on the mic. We heard the crowd chants for The Undertaker. Styles ends up saying that it's been not once, but twice, The Undertaker has stuck his nose where it doesn't belong. The Undertaker made his appearance at Super Showdown, took out Styles, and won the two-week trophy in Saudi Arabia. And then last night at Elimination Chamber, Taker made his appearance. He was choking both Gallows and Anderson, and he chokeslammed Styles and disappeared. So this is what Styles was saying. That's been not once but twice that The Undertaker stuck his nose where it didn't belong. And he also showed what happened at Elimination Chamber last night. So he ended up saying that they nearly had Aleister Black beat when Taker showed up and took out the OC. So Styles ends up recalling when Roman beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. And he recalls when Taker folded his jacket and put his jacket in the ring, which we all thought that was the end of The Undertaker. He was going to retire right there. That Roman, was going to retire The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33, which I have the plaque to it up there. Really awesome plaque. But it was a really cool moment with Taker just putting his jacket and in the ring at the end of WrestleMania 33. And Styles was saying, then he put his fist up, riding off into the sunset. And he ends up saying and Styles ended up saying he thought Taker should have retired after losing to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And Styles says he wants him at WrestleMania. He ends up saying that maybe 15 years ago, he would be hesitant in calling out The Undertaker. Styles ends up saying he doesn't see a phenom anymore. All he sees is a broken down old man named, sorry about that, but I was saying, Styles was saying he sees a broken down old man named Mark Calloway, which of course is The Undertaker's real name. But Styles says he doesn't know what brings The Undertaker back, and that he should have retired years ago. He then says he believes it's Michelle McCool. That Michelle McCool is the reason why The Undertaker keeps coming back. So Styles ends up saying that anything she wants, she gets. Even if it means Undertaker coming back to the ring. And Styles says McCool is the most conniving person he's ever met. He ends up saying that he's going to make sure The Undertaker dies in the ring at WrestleMania. Styles ends up saying that he's going to take The Undertaker's soul at WrestleMania. So Styles ends up calling him a broken down old man again, and he accepts the challenge. So it's going to be Styles versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And that's going to be a pretty awesome match right there. But this whole promo from Styles, it was the best promo of the night. Really enjoyed this promo. And Styles nailed it. Then we saw Charlie Caruso. She approached Randy Orton. To get his thoughts on Edge returning tonight. And Randy Orton was just there, stares at Charlie Caruso with a grin on his face, and he didn't say anything. And he just walked off. And that was that. Then we had Riddick Moss versus Cedric Alexander for the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title. This was just a squash match. Riddick Moss won, neckbreaker to Cedric Alexander. There you go. Riddick Moss wins, still retains the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title. If you remember in my vlog, if you guys have seen it, everybody was chanting, "Who are you?" at Riddick Moss last week, which I thought was funny. It was hilarious because they were chanting, "Who are you?" And then there was one guy in the video who was like, "Where'd you come from?" which I laughed at. But yeah, last week, the Brooklyn crowd shitted all over Riddick Moss, and it was hilarious. Go back and watch my vlog if you guys haven't seen it. The part of Riddick Moss getting shit on by the Brooklyn crowd, absolutely hilarious. So Riddick Moss wins. Do not give a shit. Do not give a shit about the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title. Said it before. And then when Raw came back from the commercial, MVP was in the ring. He ends up saying that he's transitioning from in-ring competitor to absolute brainiac. He ends up saying that he's going to build his stable around a man like Edge. He ends up saying that he could lead Edge back to becoming champion again. So then we go back to the parking lot. We see Edge drives into the arena. He's very mad, very pissed off, wanting to get his hands on Randy Orton. Edge was shown walking straight to the ring. MVP ended up saying they are going to make a bunch of money, and he has a great proposition for him. So Edge made his way out, ended up speed walking to the ring, gets in the ring, gets on the mic. He ends up telling Orton to grow a set and come to the ring. So MVP ends up getting into this. He asks Edge, what's wrong with him? He ends up saying that he's mentally off and focusing on the wrong things. MVP then ended up asking how Beth Phoenix is. Of course, is Edge's wife. So because of that pissed off Edge, and Edge came in and speared MVP. And then from behind, Randy Orton came in, and Edge ended up delivering his own RKO on Orton. And the crowd really popped for that. So Edge got out of the ring, grabbed the chair, headed back into the ring. So then Edge decides to get another chair to take out Orton. And then Orton ran out of the ring, wanting nothing to do with Edge. Edge ended up putting a chair in the middle of the ring. He ends up giving or delivering a RKO to MVP on the chair. So Edge looks at Orton. He grabs the second chair, whacks MVP over the head with it, just like Randy Orton did to him, just like Randy Orton did to Edge. So the crowd was chanting one more time to Edge. So Edge ended up smacking the chair at MVP again. So Orton was staring at Edge on the other stage. Edge gets out of the ring, runs after Randy Orton, and then Raw went to commercial. And so when Raw came back from the commercial, we got an announcement that next week on Raw, it's going to be a contract signing between Styles and The Undertaker for WrestleMania 36. So yeah, we got a contract signing next week. And then we see Aleister Black versus Seth Rollins with Buddy Murphy there by him. And the match itself, it was, decent. It was back and forth between the both of them. Seth Rollins ended up attempting to go for the stomp, but Aleister Black ended up countering it. Aleister went to go for the Black Mass. Rollins countered it. Rollins got sent out to the floor by Aleister Black. Black went for springboard into the middle of the ring, and he ends up sitting down. Seth Rollins was then working on Aleister Black, sending Aleister face first into the turnbuckle, and then delivered a knee strike to Black. And the match ended in a disqualification because Buddy Murphy ended up jumping in, because Black ended up hitting a snap German suplex to Seth Rollins with the bridge. So Buddy Murphy ended up jumping in, and then the match went to a disqualification. Buddy Murphy was just swinging away on Aleister Black. Post-match, AOP came out, and the group was being down on Aleister Black. Viking Raiders came out to try to help out. Viking Raiders ended up getting beat down by AOP, Buddy Murphy, and Seth Rollins. So then the Street Profits come out. They start going at it at AOP, Buddy Murphy, and Seth Rollins. They clear them out. Then Montez Ford gets on the mic. He ends up calling for a 8-man tag team match. And Rollins was like, all right, we'll have this 8-man tag. So then they ran back into the ring. Raw went to commercial. Then when Raw came back, we had the main event. Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, and AOP versus the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. 8-man tag. This match, it was decent. It was enjoyable. But the outcome of it, it's like, who cares? Who cares about an 8-man tag? But in the end, we had Seth Rollins end up delivering the stomp to Montez Ford. And because of that, Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, and AOP ended up winning the match. Post-match, you had Kevin Owens coming out. Kevin Owens ended up pulling Seth Rollins out of the ring, beats up on Seth Rollins. AOP ends up throwing Kevin Owens into the ring, but Kevin Owens ends up stunning, I think it was Akam. He tossed the other one out to the floor. Kevin Owens then delivers a stunner to Buddy Murphy. And Seth Rollins comes, hits Kevin Owens with the stomp. And Rollins then ended up hitting another stomp to Kevin Owens. And then laid a third one on Kevin Owens. A third stomp on Kevin Owens. And that was how Monday Night Raw ended tonight. But all in all, the 8-man tag, it was a decent match, but the outcome of it, I'm like, who cares? Who cares about this 8-man tag? But all in all, like I said, Raw wasn't a bad show tonight. It was better than Elimination Chamber. Gotta admit that. But anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. And definitely give the video a thumbs up. comment, subscribe, and there will be no Dynamite, AEW Dynamite review Wednesday night. Of course, going to be working late, so I will be DVRing Dynamite. Give it a watch. So, but if I do a Dynamite review, it'll possibly be up on Friday. Then, of course, Friday will be the Friday Night SmackDown review. So anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later.